A lot of buzz surrounds podcast monetization, and rightfully so. It's not just about creating content anymore, it's about finding ways to sustain that creativity while keeping it accessible. Today, we're diving into the major models that, well, fuel the podcasting ecosystem, sponsorships, and listener donations. Each approach comes with its own unique challenges, but also its rewards.
Okay, but can we just appreciate how wild it is that people are paying to skip ads? I mean, that's next level commitment.
It is fascinating when you think about it. Listener donations, whether through Patreon, Ko-Fi, or direct contributions, hinge entirely on building that deep connection with an audience. But, and this is the key, it's not always a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right? Because if your podcast is, recapping horror movies, maybe pushing a support me button doesn't hit as hard. Unless, of course, your audience just loves funding screams of terror.
Well, it speaks to the fact that listener-supported models often excel in niches, where creators become almost indispensable to their communities. But sponsorships, on the other hand, appeal to broader categories like tech, lifestyle, or business.
Which, of course, means navigating the delicate dance of not sounding like a robot. Thanks to today's sponsor, Square Snacks, the protein box for athletes and couch potatoes alike.
That actually sounded quite convincing.
Oh, stop. But hey, did you know podcasts started accepting sponsorships ages ago? Like in 2005 or 2006 or something?
I didn't actually know. What's the story behind that?
So, get this. The first ever podcast sponsorship was for a show about tech, obviously, by Adam Curry and Dave Weiner. Their sponsor? A cereal company called Marky. I mean, who doesn't love a little snack while coding, right?
Interesting. And that really set the precedent for what's become a multi-million-dollar industry today. Do you think smaller podcasts still benefit from this model?
Totally, if they're creative about it. I mean, sponsors these days want to see engagement, not just downloads. You'd be surprised how many niche shows are killing it because they're hyper-focused on their target audience. Even Cats as Actors podcasts.
That's unique. But the broader question, isn't it, is how podcasters can decide which model aligns with both their content and their audience. So, speaking of smaller podcasts finding their niche or getting creative with sponsorships, let's dive deeper. What about the podcasters who've gone beyond just theory and actually turned their passion into a financially sustainable business?
Ooh, are we talking household names? Like Joe Rogan levels? Or are we venturing into quaint but brilliant territory?
I think the truly fascinating cases are the latter, those niche creators who've developed something special within small, dedicated communities. Take Tim, a Brooklyn-based podcaster who started a small show about micro-distilleries in his neighborhood.
Wait, I love this already. Podcasts and whiskey? Perfect combo.
Exactly. He started as a hobbyist documenting stories about local distilleries. His authentic enthusiasm caught on, and suddenly he had listeners requesting private tastings and partnership proposals from distilleries.
Let me guess. Then came the merch.
Right. But he didn't just slap his logo on mugs. He collaborated with the very distilleries he featured, creating limited edition whiskey blends. It gave his audience something unique and directly tied to the content they loved.
Okay, that's pretty genius. It's like saying, thanks for listening. Now drink this and make better decisions.
Or worse decisions depending on the sip count. But it illustrates how monetizing niches, when done creatively, can outperform even broader approaches.
Yeah, but it also sounds exhausting. I mean, not everyone's turning their hobby into a full-time whiskey partnership.
True, but it's not confined to alcohol aficionados. Look at the duo behind Fiction Forge Radio. What started as a podcast for amateur writers turned into a full-blown subscription platform. They now run workshops and sell story critiques.
Hold up. They're charging for feedback? That's bold since critiquing your writing can feel like, letting someone review your diary.
It's a leap of faith, for sure. But their model works because they cultivated a sense of trust and community. Their listeners knew their critiques would be constructive, not dismissive. And paid membership includes regular Q sessions with published authors.
So basically, they're like, here's your spotlight, and here's your thick skin. Now go write. I love it.
And these examples show how creativity, paired with understanding your audience, often leads to the most meaningful success stories. These success stories are inspiring, but let's be real, getting there isn't easy. While monetizing a podcast can lead to incredible rewards, challenges like finding the right sponsors or keeping your audience engaged enough to support directly are unavoidable. For example, how do you approach sponsors without sounding like, well, a used car salesman?
That's the worst, right? Like, buy our product today, or your podcast might spontaneously combust.
Exactly. Building that trust with potential sponsors is crucial. It's about aligning their brand with your audience's interests. And on the flip side, you need to ensure your listeners still feel valued, not like walking wallets.
Oh, absolutely. And then you've got the whole live read issue. I'll never forget the time I totally butchered a sponsor's tagline during an ad read. Picture this.
I'm intrigued. Do tell.
So it was supposed to be unleash the flavor, right? But somehow I said, unleash the fever. I mean, who's signing up for spicy flu juice? No one.
That might explain why they didn't renew their sponsorship, but it does underline a good point. Rehearse your ad reads beforehand.
Right. And be yourself too. If your audience knows you, they'll forgive a fever moment. Just, try not to make it a habit.
Another challenge: managing listener expectations when relying on crowdfunding or donations. It's not always easy to strike the balance between offering perks and, let's face it, guilting people into supporting you.
Yeah, especially when perks spiral out of control. Sign up for $5 a month and we'll, custom write you a lullaby or something.
And that just becomes unsustainable. Instead, creators need to offer value at scale. Think exclusive episodes, early access, or Q&A sessions.
Totally. And don't forget the number one rule of podcasting. Keep the content authentic. You're giving your audience something they love, not running a telethon.
Well said. Ultimately, overcoming these challenges comes down to knowing your audience, staying creative, and walking the fine line between monetization and authenticity.
And maybe, just maybe, don't promise fever-free ad reads when you're starting out.
And on that note, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of podcast monetization. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. Keep chasing those podcast dreams, and we'll catch you next time.